Let's meet someone who's leading with vision and heart. Selina Bridge, as CEO redefining fitness and balance as a business leader and a mum. I'm Kate Save. The Inspired CEO starts now. Welcome to The Inspired CEO, where each episode we explore the innovative wellness practices that are driving success and longevity in the modern business world. In this interview, I speak with Selina Bridge, the dynamic CEO of KX Pilates, who has led brand rapid expansion across Australia and Asia Pacific. With a background in global marketing and a passion for people-first leadership, Selina shares her journey from corporate executive to fitness industry trailblazer and her insights on balancing business with motherhood and her vision for empowering women through wellness and entrepreneurship. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you for having me, Kate.
What a career and what a growth story as well. But before we go into that, tell me about growing up. Where did you grow up? Because you're from the UK.
I am from the UK. I've been in Australia for 19 years this year.
Right.
I actually lived in America when I was 1 till 5, so I've got a little bit of an American, influence in my blood.
Do you have the passports?
No, and that'll be way too complicated because I've got Australia and the UK, so that's enough. But grew up in England, just outside of London, beautiful place called Surrey. Very, very lucky to live in a place like that because of the connection into London and all the exposure of culture, but at the same time in more of a community area. As a child, as a baby, I'm an identical twin. So for me, that's quite a unique growing up story. And I probably didn't realize what an influence that had on me until actually I became more of an adult at university, and you realize how when you grow up with someone who is exactly the same as you, you've got this natural benchmark, a natural, almost like someone that you think, could I be doing better? What have they done? Do I want to do that too? I realize now how, and it's such a privilege to have someone who also, obviously I love to pieces, but I think having that identical twin has certainly driven a lot of who I am. A competitive side, to say a caring side, was very acknowledging that there's someone else with me.
Yeah.
So that was very exciting. We did everything really together. You just can't help but being the same when you are identical.
Yes.
Whether that's sports, even school. We ended up going to university. We did the same degree.
Did you?
We did it all separately, our applications, but how it all ended up did exactly the same. But it was actually at university where our lives started to change and differ a little bit. I've sort of got into my university life, but look, growing up, I've always been very active, enjoyed sports, enjoyed music and other things, but ended up going into very sports. So sports, health, well-being, level of competition and growth, but friendships that you gain through having that extra part in your life has always been a very big part of who I am. Never expected to have a career that was then within the fitness industry.
Because what was your degree?
Business.
Yes, right.
So I did a degree in business administration. I'm actually quite a sciencey person. I enjoy facts and figures. So I was actually going to become an accountant, which is quite interesting. I did multiple different sort of placements when I was at university. Absolutely loved. I did some sports marketing ones, loved them. But being in a business degree was following the sort of treadmill of progress, and I had a graduate placement at a very reputable big firm in London. So I thought, well, that's it. Tick the box, keep going. And I came traveling to Australia.
Did your sister come to Australia?
So actually, no, she didn't. Yeah. And to be honest, at university, we started to find our differences. The small, maybe 1% of differences between us meant that we started to have slightly different friends. Slightly different interests in courses. Our placements became different. Our careers have actually taken the biggest turning point. Like that's the biggest difference between us. But when I came to Australia, I found it very difficult to say, oh yeah, I've finished university, I'm going to become an accountant. And this is all respect to all those accountants out there, because I still love doing the numbers. But it just didn't feel right in my heart, sort of saying this is what I'm going to be. So after, it was the Australian influence, I went back home and I actually sort of cancelled the contract, decided I wouldn't follow that graduate program.
Right.
And my mum found a very small advert in the local paper, and it was at a sports marketing agency, which was based in Surrey, very close to where I lived. And they had some fantastic clients, Vodafone being one. Big, exciting partnerships to work through. And I just applied for that job and had the best start to my career.
Right.
So for me, I actually, that was such a turning point, giving up maybe security and predictability on going to a very corporate life, to following a bit of passion, taking a little, that was probably the biggest risk I took at that point.
Yeah.
It wasn't so, in a way, creative, but it was sports sponsorship. It was still strategic.
Okay.
But it was in the sports world. It was very emotional, passionate. When you're working with brands and connecting people with passion, it was a fantastic company. Everyone there was just so passionate about what they did. That's what I love. If you join a company where people are passionate about what they do and it's part of them. Yeah. So that just gave me that taste of, actually, you can absolutely love what you do.
Yes.
You've got opportunity to, input and feedback into the business, maybe more than just doing your job. And I learned that quite quickly. There's always an opportunity to be proactive and share ideas. And that is what sort of set me on a very different career path.
Wow, what a journey. And then when do you come to Australia?
So I spent 4 years there. At the time, I was with my now husband. He had been offered...
So you met him overseas?
Oh yeah, he's English. He's actually English. So we met at university.
Okay.
So university is obviously a very... in England, you tend to leave home at 17, 18. You go and live at university. So we both... Similar area we both were brought up in, but we both moved out of home to university at that time. So it's quite life-changing when you go to university in England because you really are changing your life. Yeah. But yeah, I think for him, he felt he was living a bit of a middle-aged man lifestyle, and he would have been 25, 26.
Yes.
And an opportunity for him came up in Australia. So he took the first initial step and moved. And I actually didn't really want to come at the time because I was just really loving what it was. It was a very difficult decision because I was loving what I did, like really connected to my work, my friends, just purpose. But he really was not. He was very disconnected, like really felt that he wasn't in the place. So he took the brave move of then changing countries. I ended up coming about 6 months later.
Oh, right.
So, and that was then amazing because then that was us really owning our sort of journey together.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And he's gone down the health path too.
He always had, Ollie is a sports scientist, so he's always been, he is actually a legitimate health expert. Yeah. I'm very lucky to work in the health space, and I've been obviously client, I live and breathe it. I'm a business person. Yeah, he's the health science.
So you started as the GM of Curves Oceania, is that right? So how did that role come about?
So that role actually came about quite a long time after coming to Australia. When I first came to Australia, I was working for, it was actually BMW, again in this sports sponsorship marketing space. Worked for them, that was a fantastic experience, very corporate, getting into Australia. I then actually worked for a marketing agency who I had done some work with when I was in England at university, and they were setting up a Melbourne office. And I really missed those agency days from when I was in England, of being in a small environment where you're really connected to your people, really connected, like quite a hands-on person. Yes. And I really missed that, being in a very large organisation. So when they contacted me and asked if I was interested to set up their Melbourne branch, I thought it was a very exciting opportunity. So I decided to go again from quite a stable business you could probably be in for many, many years to a very dynamic, unpredictable, but opportunity. So I did that. And then during that time, worked with some amazing clients, loved it. Also then had 2 children. Like that's when my babies were born at that time.
And how old are they now?
One is going to be 14 in a couple of weeks. And then my son will be 12 this year. So yeah, this was
similar.
then. Yeah.
Mine are turning 11 and 13.
Yes.
Very similar.
Yes. But then it was after having my second child, I just realised I had something else in me again. I think you go into a little bit of a phase where you are taking on a whole new career as a mum and managing work, but after having that second, I knew Ollie and I only wanted 2 children. Like, we're very blessed. We felt that was complete. I was ready to actually give so much more back to, I guess, me and career. And there just happened to be this opportunity at Curves, which was a marketing role at that time.
Right.
Marketing in health and fitness. And that's how I started at Curves. Couple of years later, I ended up there's a lot of changes. That's when I became the GM for the Australia, New Zealand.
Right.
Yep.
And then that step from Curves to KX Pilates,
Yep.
How did that begin?
So I was at Curves for about 4 years. And during that time, so Curves is a female fitness franchise.
Yes.
So during that time, I'd met Aaron through franchising. So Aaron, who's the founder of KX, would also go to the same franchise events. And long story short, obviously we're peers in the industry, talking about similar challenges. He was looking for someone to join the business. And initially, I wasn't looking to change at all. I was very, to say happy, there's a lot of challenges that I was just really immersed in, like very connected again to the people within the business, the franchisees, the team. But again, my mum ended up moving out to Australia. So her visa came through, she decided to come out. And it unlocked this opportunity of, I can do more.
Yes.
I'm going to have different support in my life. And it came at a time when Aaron was looking for someone to take more of a leadership role. He was then having the young children and looking to transition out. So the timing just worked very well. He had an opportunity. I was ready. I guess I only want to commit to something if I feel like I can.
Yeah.
So I was ready to commit and take another level.
And very interesting for Aaron as the founder of KX Pilates and the CEO to then go out and seek a replacement CEO. Completely different skill set to him, I guess, and different operator. And how did you guys, discover that you were going to be the perfect person to run his organisation?
Well, you probably have to ask Aaron that, but very, very lucky. It's Aaron as the founder, Andy, his wife, who is she is just as connected and has built the business from day one with him, and myself. And I guess maybe no one quite knew, and I still remember, there'd be 6 months, he was sort of thinking, right, this is the handover. We are just all so aligned ultimately on what the business is about. His values are my values. So we are I think we're probably lucky because there's just so much that absolutely works. At the same time, we're all quite different. Sometimes it might be Aaron and Andy who've got a certain perspective, and I bring in the third different perspective.
Yes.
Aaron and I can get caught with being a bit too alike and like thinking more of these big, fancy, shiny ideas, and Andy will bring it back down to earth. Andy has gone and she herself has owned studios as well, and right now she owns Noosa up in Queensland. So she brings such an amazing perspective from that of an owner as well. Right. So between us, it just is this very, fortunate dynamic. I'm very, very respectful. It is their business. Aaron and Andy have built this for over 15 years. Yes. I would never decide, what do I want to do? How do I completely change this business to suit me? If there was any kind of big decision, they're in on it. I speak to them a lot. They also do, I guess, give me the right amount of empowerment and autonomy to make decisions. As if you were to ask Aaron some of the detail, to be honest, he wouldn't know it, and he doesn't need to. That's the trust.
Yeah. It's amazing.
So I think that maybe there's a bit of luck, but at the same time, there's a very mutual respect on how we run the business.
Now, that growth story of KX Pilates is phenomenal. So you're, how many sites?
It's 106 in Australia.
Wow.
We've just opened our 7th international market.
And which countries are you in now?
So obviously Australia, then there's Taiwan, China, Indonesia, Japan, Thailand, New Zealand, and Singapore.
Wow, that is absolutely phenomenal. And what is the plan for the international growth? Is it more countries or more sites in the countries you're in?
A bit of both.
Okay.
We've always taken, and I guess it's probably a bit more me, so coming from Curves was a very large, at one point it was the largest franchise in the whole world. Franchise, right. Guinness Book of Records, so come from that big, big brand. And I guess there's lots of learnings and challenges that can happen when you're too big, because it depends on what you want to achieve. But if it's that quality and connection to the product, you've got to be very mindful and careful of the growth strategy. So I've probably slowed it down a little bit, but particularly, in Australia, we don't have an aggressive growth strategy. It's all about finding the right people in the right locations, being a little bit patient around that. I'm sure Aaron would love it if I said we've got 50 studios opening next year, but we don't. It's about managing, are we bringing the right people into the brand? Yes. It's very much about protecting that integrity and quality and that passion of the brand. Same with international. So we have not advertised at all to go internationally. All of these people who have come to us, that they've come to us because they've heard about the brand. They've either heard it because they've experienced it themselves in Australia or a client. They have sort of seen what KX is and they've sold it to us why we need to be. And we've taken a lot of time to make sure they're the right partners for us as well. So we would love to open up more countries internationally, but it has to be with the right person at the right time and when we can support them as well.
That is just phenomenal. And as a KX member, yes, many years now. And my background is dietitian ex-phys, and I was also a personal trainer and had a gym which I sold after my first child and then started BeFit after the second child. So I know exactly what you mean about that feeling. And I think the uniqueness to KX for me, and I'm someone who thought I would never do group exercise because once you're their instructor, you think you can't be told to do something by someone else. But I think what's so unique about KX is you've got incredible trainers. The programs are always different and innovative. The exercises, there's something about the exercises being right from an exercise physiology point of view, whereas I must say when I've tried different things, I don't always like the exercises because I think, what is this exercise for? This is going to be more damaging rather than building. And the whole idea of your workout is to get stronger and to work all your different muscles. And I feel like every single workout I go to my maximum, to the point where that last leg wobble on a squat, I think, am I going to get back up again? And you get up and you can barely walk out of there. And I didn't think Pilates could do that. And I just love it. And I think what you've built is incredible.
And I was having a really interesting discussion earlier with a couple of ladies who said, I didn't realise that, so I can start now. And that is the beauty, and I'll say definitely of KX, I'm sure many other brands, but definitely of KX, where you can just start at whatever level you're at. We do put a lot of effort into our trainers and our training team, and that goes through our franchise partners, which is why they have to be the right kind of people. They've got to believe in the quality of the service that has to be then delivered to the client. But if you're starting as not even a personal trainer, you really are starting from scratch, you can start from scratch because we're there to teach all the foundations and help people work out how to actually bring Reformer Pilates into their life. But then there are all those progression levels. We want to see clients get to where they want to. So it's not about us pushing someone to where they don't want to be and perhaps they'll give up and it doesn't suit them. It's about helping KX fit into their lifestyles. We want them to be healthier, fitter, stronger, but find their rhythm. So that is absolutely that role of the trainer. That is where it goes back to making sure we've got good people in the business. And
the equipment itself too, I think going into it, having no real or not a lot of experience with Reformer Pilates, I found that the workouts that you can do and the way you can use your muscles is so much more than what you would expect. And I'm many hundreds of classes in. I know I got my 250 a while ago, and I literally feel like I haven't done the same workout twice. And I feel the same. I've been going since I've been at KX, which is over 7 years. I don't think I've done the same workout twice, which is interesting. But the other side, we have a KX method. We teach our trainers to follow a structure. When you said you're not quite sure what that is, it just feels right. It's because they are trained to follow a structure, but then they're empowered to be creative and deliver workouts within frameworks. And that makes perfect sense because we know the military style trainers, there's a couple of them, and you wake up in the morning, you're like, who's on this morning? And you're like, hey, what are my energy levels like? And sneak on the light springs instead of the heavy ones because you know by the end of the workout you won't be walking. I love it. So I think what you've built is incredible. Now, about you and family, work-life balance, tell me how you find that in your life.
I am someone, I actually thrive on being busy.
Yes.
Thrive on, I actually love, because I love what I do, I thrive on that too. So even though there's a lot, and I'm sure my mum would say there's no balance at all because I'm always working, but it's because I want to work and solve the next problem or help, so whatever it is. And obviously in today's world, we've got to be realistic. No one sits at their desk 9 till 5.
No.
COVID obviously changed that up a little bit, and I think that's great. And I've noticed even from my partner, husband side, he's got more flexibility. It means that he can support me as well. So the flexibility does also mean that there's not clear lines of on and off.
Yes.
I mean, we know that you don't leave your work in the office.
Yes.
But, so look, I think for me, it's not about balance. There is an integration. But I think it just goes back to if you love what you're doing, it's part of who you are. And I actually love it. I might think of something on the weekend and I can call Aaron and Andy and business is on.
Yes.
So it's a busy life. Both my children, they're very sporty.
Yes.
You know, they're very motivated.
Yes.
So yes, we'll drive them around to different places and I want to encourage them to do the best that they can. But yeah, look, I think I don't watch a lot of TV. I don't sit down probably enough.
Yes.
But that's life now, and I feel like it's going to go very, very quickly. So just making the most of this, time and the energy that I've got right now.
Absolutely. And I think what I love about this show is every guest that I bring on, by the end of it, is oozing with enthusiasm about what they do. They sound very fulfilled, and the joy that you experience in your life. Finding balance is tricky for everyone, and you're doing an incredible job. And thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me, Kate.
Well, this is the Inspired CEO, and we'll be right back.